Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Woo.
It's your actual fave OG3 here. And we are gathered around to discuss the two specials that TLC sort of blessed us with. It was a journey to find the episodes because for some reason Max and Discovery Plus weren't in the cool group to get that release. So some of you may have seen it. Some of you may have watched a YouTube copy. I'm not going to be mad at that. That's not my wheelhouse. But yeah, so we had a look back and a talk back, and we shall look back and also talk back.
Oh,
so I did make an intro. It's about 20 seconds long, and you may have seen it. I uploaded it to my Instagram today. But let's roll that, let the room load, and then we'll just jump right in. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
In her personality type loves drama.
I can't watch this.
As soon as Cody started reading the
How do I
mission
stop
statement,
it? I can't watch this. I can't watch this. I can't. Oh my.
It's cut.
Let's cut.
Guys, I can't do this. I can't stop this. How do I stop the live stream? I can't.
What were how did you guys feel about these? Did they meet your expectations? Were they superfluous? Did you learn anything new, James?
Well, I'm gonna say this off top. I feel horrible about this, but every time I see her jump off that couch crying because she's watching that video, I kind of giggle a little bit, just on the inside, deep down on the inside. It's crazy. I thought there were interesting points. If you don't have what I would say, because I was one of the people who struggled. Thank you, Sarah. I'm gonna say it on the live right up. Because Sarah actually hooked me up, Sarah and Amanda worked with me so that I could actually find this information, this content, so I could see it, so I could comment on it. Because TLC completely dropped the bag on it.
I mean, I myself, prior to a week ago, I was just rolling with Max. And then it didn't upload. And so I actually subscribed to YouTube TV. I previously had a subscription, but really all I was using it for was watching Jeopardy. So I re-signed up but under a different email because you get a 5-day free trial.
Right.
So
yeah, that's what I did.
I watched it.
Go
ahead, Amanda.
I was just gonna say another free trial thing you can do is Philo. It's scary because they're like, it's gonna be $25. And so you're like, but just immediately cancel as soon as you subscribe. And they give you 7 days. So that's how I watched them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is the feed?
Or you could, I was just going to say, or you could do the YouTube trial for the talk back, look back, and wait and do the Philo free trial for the 4 episodes of Christine. But you didn't hear that from me.
That's the way.
I would never say that.
I don't feel bad about it because everyone's people that have Discovery and Max are paying how many dollars a month for their subscription, and this is part of the season.
Right.
I feel like they're not holding up to their end of the bargain. So,
well, what do they think? Do they think like thousands of fans, Sister Wife fans, are going to go out and like get cable? Is that what they think? Like, what is the purpose of this?
Well, here's my rant. Here's my quick rant.
Mm-hmm.
If TLC was going to do this, and if TLC, if you're watching, you ever see this, this is my recommendation. If you're ever going to try to get this so you can negotiate a better contract deal with your cable providers because you want the new viewers to see it, make sure people know that this is what you're doing. Like that this is where you have to go to see the exclusive content. We as the viewers should not have to do footwork to try to find your content. I shouldn't have to chase you around to find this.
Especially so back like a couple years ago now, when Discovery Plus first came out, they would play new episodes of 90 Day Fiance at least. Like it would drop the morning of. So Sunday,
Right.
it would be like midnight or whatever, it would drop. Then when they made the deal to merge with Warner and go to Max, that went away and a lot of people got upset. It's you get us relying on something, and usually at 10 o'clock Eastern, Sister Wives would release. So a lot of us were relying on the fact that, okay, you're saying it releases at 9 o'clock. I didn't realize that there was anything different about the look back or the talk back. And if I'm already, it's so unbelievable. So unbelievable.
Right.
And of course, it's literally Christmas. So nobody's at TLC or Discovery is going to take a phone call or a complaint about it. They don't care. They're off until the new year.
Oh, here's rant part 2. If you guys, I hope that TLC does it in a way where they have at least some new content dropping during the summer, because otherwise this is foolhardy. You end the season, then right after the season's over, right around the Christmas holiday, around the big holiday season, you start dropping new episodes. And then what are you going to go 5-6 months with nothing? Like, you could have fed this throughout the summer. Like, this is so poorly planned. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry. Rant over.
let me know if I'm dark and foggy for anyone else.
Not
You
for
saw
me.
the talk back on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a Vimeo
Mad
link
at you.
going around too.
Yeah. I mean, and this is going to cause people to cancel. James, you are too logical. Stop it right now.
Right. Dang it.
Yeah, no loyalty, TLC. Good point, Kelly. It's like we are so loyal, especially to Sister Wives. It's been 18 seasons, and it's like we can't catch a break.
Cody's
Right.
gonna disown TLC. I'm telling you.
Oh, I saw earlier someone asked about this newest teaser for the next look back or talk back. I don't know which is which, so I'll probably call the one the wrong thing. So I apologize in advance. But he flips out about being asked to watch the fight. I'm very interested to see that. So I think it was the talk back is what premiered on December 22nd. And that was them in their homes taking questions, and they watched season 18, episode 1. Then on the 24th, we had the look back, and that was like various clips, and it touched on a lot of different topics. Was there a style that you liked over the other, Amanda?
Oh, for sure. I liked the talk back better. I just, not in a way that I liked it. Like I couldn't imagine I would hate Cody and Robin even more. And like them together on a couch, I was just like, but I found it so much more interesting to watch them in their homes.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm surprised. I liked them both. I wasn't thinking this was going to be good content, and I was very surprised. I was into both of the specials.
Yeah. How did you feel, James?
Actually, I agree. I agree with what Amanda said. I think that the second one seemed a little more produced, whereas because they were kind of filming themselves, it seemed like it was a little more free flowing. I think I agree with what Amanda said as far as Robin is concerned. Like, there's some things with her that we'll probably get into later on, but there's some stuff with her that just annoys me. Like, she's the chef kiss of pissed off Tiffany. Like, she just makes me angry for no reason. The way she conducts herself, it's insane.
Yes. I find myself getting so worked up about what I really enjoyed about the talk back is seeing Cody and Robin together, because you can see how they feed each other's delusions.
Right.
At one point, Robin says like they don't know me at all, and Cody says nobody knows you. Click and like ends the scene, and it's like, oh my god, can you imagine how like dinner on like a Monday night goes for them, because it's just them going back and forth about who the bigger victim is.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of what Robin had to say in the talk back was she would be like, Cody, do you want to be an active father? She's like setting him up to like make him look better. But they still look horrible. They look horrible. I hate them. I hated them so much. And Robin was comatose. Absolutely miserable comatose the whole time.
That was such a bad look. That was weird. I was uncomfortable with how miserable she looked. It was ugh.
Yeah. I have a theory on that.
Oh yeah, what's your theory?
All right, my theory is simply this, and I'll probably do a video on it later. But my theory is this: I think Robin was pretending. She was acting as though she was put off by Cody because she's trying to move that storyline forward about her being angry about Cody, but it also provides her cover because she doesn't want to answer any questions. She doesn't want to say anything because she's so afraid that everything that she's going to say is going to be turned back on her and make her look bad, because it usually looks bad because it is bad. But everything she's going to say is going to be turned back on her. So she wants to avoid the conversation. And the way that she could do that is to feed our desire to see some turmoil or some issues between the two of them. And it distracts away from the whole notion that she's not answering any questions. Because she, like, even during the tell-all, they would ask questions of the wives and Cody that they wouldn't ask her. During this the talk back and the look back, they would ask questions or talk to her about things, or talk to the other folks about things that they wouldn't address with her. So I think this whole thing is just a way for her to try to distract and get away from actually responding to anything.
Okay, so apparently I look foggy. So I am going to try a couple things real quick. Hold on.
You are a bit foggy, but it's not too distracting from my vantage point. And Barbara Baldwin, I love that you said I have a RBF, but my mouth will never contort to the frown on Sabin's puss. Uh-oh, James and I take it over just for a second, I'm sure. Right. Yeah, I feel like we learned now why Robin and Cody don't like to show themselves together on screen, because you know, it's not likable. It's not a good look. They don't make each other look better. They make each other look worse. Right.
Well, because they have that they don't have the charisma to hold the tension. The only way they really hold attention is when they're burning a place down. And that's not a good look for anybody. So when they're playing the arsonists, you know what I mean? They're just throwing gas on the family. It's like, wow, what's going on with Robin and Cody? But when you see the two of them together, they're so hesitant to show anything or reveal anything about their personal lives or what's going on between them in their lives. They're too hesitant to show any personal dynamic between the two of them that it turns into a whole game of cat and mouse, where we, the audience members, are trying to chase them around and figure out what's going on with them. And frankly, it's not interesting enough for me to really care or be concerned with trying to catch them. So again, I echo the opinion that I don't think they have much of a show. If they try to run a show, I don't know what they would have a show on.
No. You know? It would be horrible reality TV. And, you know, the crime of being boring and choosing not to show your real self and not to be vulnerable, you know, as a reality TV fan, like, I am doubly offended by that. They already offend me on all the other lies and gaslighting they put out there, but, you know, at least, you know, be somewhat real. But of course, like James said, they're not going to do that. They're afraid. They don't want to do it.
Yep. One of my, and I'm sorry, guys, I just literally wiped my lens. So hopefully that worked. I do apologize for being that level of crusty over here, but I do apologize.
You look like my eyes from 3 days ago.
I know. My son has a blocked tear duct that is supposed to like resolve itself over time.
Oh, okay.
But literally his eye on any given day is like goop city. So That's probably what he sees this whole time.
Mm.
Poor
Yep.
guy. Anyways, so yes, we've ranted about the streaming services. I'm not going to be over it. I know some of you guys have said move on. I'll move on, but I'm not over it. But I'll move on. Do you
I'm
guys
like Cody. I'm not gonna let that go.
Right. I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna have it in my back pocket. It will be a chip on my shoulder. Do you guys think that these specials, because they've never done stuff like this before with Sister Wives, do you think that this is a result of Gwen and McKelty and the kids being more active and successful on monetizing like social media off the show?
No.
I mean, I think that definitely has something to do with it. I also wonder if they look at all of the YouTubers like us and they see, oh, this audience is hungry for more content. And, how cheap is it for them to produce? They're just putting together a few clips on an iPad. Any one of us could have done the same thing. And,
Mm.
and so they're producing this super cheaply. So I think all of it combined, sure, like they don't want to be leaving cash on the table.
Right. I 100% agree. I think that they don't want to leave cash on the table, but at the same time, they're leaving cash on the table because going back to what I said before, but
Go off.
they're leaving money all over the place, and they're chasing after Peyton. I think they're chasing after Peyton, Gwen, McKelty. They're chasing after that money to try to block them off, but at the same time, like even YouTubers, like as a business model, we help them. Because if anything, when they're not doing the season, if we're talking about the seasons, talking about the response, we're keeping eyes on the screen and we're keeping interest high as far as this family is concerned. So, I mean, if they were going to start cutting checks for stupid stuff, start cutting checks and send it to the YouTubers, TLC. Because
And
at the end of the
stop
day, I think it'll
putting
be a lot more better.
content claims, manual
Yes.
copyrights. How about that? Let's
Right.
start there.
Yes.
I want you to talk about me, but don't talk about me. This is like being in a relationship with Robin. I don't want the man at me. I want the family. I want to keep Cody in my house. I want them sister wives. Like, you don't know what's going on. Like, depends on what day of the week it is.
That is the truth. That is the truth.
James, you just don't know Robin, okay?
Right.
Just don't know
Nobody
her.
does.
Nobody knows
Nobody
Robin.
knows Robin.
They're quick.
So so Cody, my word vomit. In the talk back, like I said, I really enjoyed seeing Cody and Robin sitting together because it's been a long time since we've had couch confessionals featuring the entire family. We've seen Cody by himself and Robin by himself. And we even saw in the look back when they're watching back the wedding dress shopping scene, Cody and Robin had very different recollections of how that all went down. Now Robin is saying Cody didn't pick the dress. I wonder, had they been watching that together, what that would have looked like, with Cody saying, obviously having to affirm what he said in the clip, which is, I'm dropping a bomb, I picked the dress, and then Robin is trying to come in and say, no, you didn't pick the dress, you just gave your input.
Go ahead, James.
Okay, I think this. I think that if Cody and Robin were sitting together, Cody would have backed off of it because he would have just said, well, I felt like I picked the dress because I was so involved and we were there together and I may have misspoke. Like, he'll never claim that. And the one thing is the most frustrating point throughout all the seasons, including these extras, is the fact that neither one of them will ever say that they're responsible for anything. They've never done anything wrong. Everybody has always misunderstood the stuff they did. They are always, treated like villains, and they're always victimized, but they're not the victims because they're smarter and stronger than everybody else. Like, that's the whole song that they've been singing this entire season. And that's part of the reason too. What annoys the hell out of me as I watch them get together, but he would have backed off. I think, because between the two of them, she would be the victim if she sat there and said that, yeah, I took Cody out with me and let him pick the dress. So she tries to divert because she thinks it makes it look bad.
Yeah. one of the things I absolutely loved, and I talked about it in the video I put out a few days ago, is Robin hits on something during the talk back, and then it's dropped. It's not, they don't talk about it again, but this notion that Cody only ever talks about his sister wives' relationships with each other, and how like his relationship is bad with certain wives because they don't have good relationships with each other, but he doesn't ever talk about what he's doing in the relationship that's making the relationship bad. That was an excellent point by Robin. And
Mhm.
I wish we could have been like, yeah, Cody, what's up with that?
Yeah, that was really interesting to watch her kind of call him out a few times like that. And, you know, like you said, they don't really go into it. Cody and Robin just have too much control over what they can and can't answer and talk about. But yeah, I found that dynamic to be very interesting when she kind of calls him out. I wonder if like she has a publicist or a friend who's like, oh, maybe the fans will like you more if you know, say a half truth every once in a while, you know?
Mhm. I'm gonna say this: the other James conspiracy. I'm gonna make a video about this as well because I thought about it, and I've been wanting to do it, but I've been so busy with the holidays. But I agree. When I first watched it, I thought it was an excellent point. I was like, "Damn, Robin, about time, Robin pulling out one." But then I thought about it. I think because I think we're all looking at it from the lens of rational people. But when I look at it through the lens of somebody who is probably only concerned with themselves and their feelings, emotions, and how they feel about things and how they affect them, I think she mentioned that because she was trying to get the attention off of herself. Because if Cody is blaming the sister wives relationship, then what he's saying is it's because they're going after Robin. That's the entire reason why she doesn't get along supposedly with Garrison and Gabe, is because they're so offensive to Robin that he can't get along with his kids now. So what she's essentially saying is, Cody, you have to stop pulling me into it because I'm being blamed and I'm looking like the bad guy. So you leave me out of it and talk about how you don't get along with them. So it wasn't necessarily that, because I think it's such a good point, but I don't think she made it the way like everybody's kind of taking it just because that's how she thinks about it. But it is a great point.
Oh, that's great, James. I totally agree.
Two moments that really stuck out to me and caused me to laugh out loud was when Mary, it opens, she's taking her trash cans out to the curb and she goes, "Oh, this is totally appropriate. I'm taking out the trash." And then later on, when Christine answers the question about why is Cody so like butthurt over you leaving if he thought you were gross and never loved you or something, whatever they asked her. And she goes, "Oh my God, I know, right?" He's like, "Why are you so obsessed with me?" Like, and I feel like this is a sign of things to come. Like the couch interviews are going to be unhinged.
Good. I'm ready for it. And you know, Mary has never looked better than in these specials. She is a little bit of like she didn't like it when people were like, "Why did it take you so long to leave?" She doesn't want to admit it took her like forever to leave.
Right.
But other than that, she is like on it. She's funny. She's so maturely handling the conflict with her and Christine. Yeah, I loved Mary during these two specials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, so we had a comment here I wanted to point out. Andrea, Mary had her chance to take responsibility and accountability for the catfishing issues. Swing and a miss. Come on, Mary, I want to root for you. Just own it. This stays my biggest gripe with Mary. And Cody, I had to give him credit in the look back. He said like she had an affair. She had an emotional affair. And because this person turned out to not be the person who they claim to be, Mary gets to abscond from responsibility because she was duped. She was victimized. She was catfished, but she fully participated in an online affair. So
Right.
I agree, Andrea. That really is a chip on the other chip on my other shoulder is that Mary just cannot take responsibility. It's annoying.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
just
listen.
blushing because somebody said I was hot and funny.
Well,
I
yeah,
was gonna say that you got a fan, Amanda. You're
yeah.
killing them now.
I don't know what this is in relation to, but
Oh, they're talking about that
The
the
banana.
picture of Mary with that
oh, with
banana.
Yeah.
Mary.
What is it? It's like right
Yeah.
here or something. It's like barely in
Right,
the frame.
almost licking it or whatever. Yeah, it was kind of wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't eaten bananas since then. But see, I think that
Anna, Lordy, not the banana split.
yeah, right? But I think that like because I said this on the other day that when I see this catfish thing come up, I agree with Cody that it was cheating and it's wrong. Like I'm going to go on record. You shouldn't step out of your relationship, your commitment. That was your commitment to keep. No matter what they're doing, you honor your commitment, honor your vows. If the relationship ain't working, step out of the relationship. Go do you. Right. But at the same time, I think that she could have more. People can sympathize with her situation more if she just took accountability for it. Because even though Cody can sit there and say that, oh, I was victimized, bro, you made her vulnerable to anybody who comes into your relationship. You have you have a hand in what happened. So it's not that she was just, everything was going great at home and you just wanted to go out and get a little taste of strange. That's not what happened. She was laying in the bed with you crying because she wanted you to spend time with her. She wanted you to hold her hand, look at her, and have a conversation. Now all of a sudden, she ain't culpable. All of a sudden, you're sitting there and you're saying, "Oh, I'm such a victim because she cheated on me." Bro, you left the door open and somebody just walked through it. And the only thing that really pisses me off about the whole thing is that Cody gets to hit her because she refuses to acknowledge that this is what she did. Every time you turn around, he gets to bash her with it. You did the wrong thing, but at the same time, everybody was wrong in this situation. And so just take your end of it and move on. And stop letting them victimize you because you made a bad choice or you had a bad decision. It is what it is.
I 100% agree, James. And something that came to my mind when you were saying this is, Mary has been so lonely and so isolated, really ripe for being preyed upon by a catfisher, really. We've heard at different times that like, oh, Isabel really needs to move out because Christine would like emotionally unload on her kids. She had 6 kids to unload on with all they knew, they were privy to at least some of her marital dissatisfaction. And I don't know if Janelle really had marital dissatisfaction. It was more her kids being like, "Hey, mom, dad's treating us like crap." But
Right.
with Mary, Leon had moved away at the time of the catfishing. Leon and Mary didn't really have a good, close relationship. And Mary was so isolated from the rest of the family. So I agree with it. It definitely wasn't normal circumstances. A lot of people in the comments are saying it, my sound is weird. Sorry.
It's normal for me.
Okay.
Is her sound weird for everybody else in the chat? Let us know.
Yeah. Let me know and I can, I don't know, wipe my microphone off. It worked for my lens. Maybe it'll work for my microphone. But anyways, it's normal for me, good for me. You sound fine to me. Okay. All right. So I apologies if it's in and out. What was I saying?
You were talking about Mary, how she was so vulnerable to having an emotional affair because of the whole Cody turning his back on her, won't even look at her when they sleep at night.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with there's the whole setup of this situation was messed up. And Cody definitely I think, dipped out on his marriage vows long before Mary little danced with the catfish. But you know, Cody gets to be the victim here because Mary cheated, and Mary is taking no accountability. So it's all annoying.
So why do you two think she won't? When we have all of this evidence, no, I don't think very few people in the fan base have watched this and been like, no emotional cheating, no online cheating took place. Her family thinks it,
Right.
her kid thinks it, we think it. Why is Mary willing to admit a lot of other things, but she won't budge on this? Is it because she's just been like against admitting it for so long she can't turn back now?
It could be that she's doubled, tripled, quadrupled down, and this is her hill, and she's gonna die on it. I don't know.
Well, because I think there might be a couple things at play. I think that there's the issue of her not wanting to have abandoned the commitment and abandon that because she doesn't want to be a cheater. I think that's first and foremost. I do think that because of something that she said, I think that the fragility of her sexual experience is coming into play because she said some pretty wild stuff about the catfish person. As far as like trying to misgender and all that. So it was a lot of anger there that I think that she's trying to work her way through. Now, with that being said, I think that maybe if you listening, please just admit it. We've heard the tapes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even the guy to go and look this stuff up. But I'm maybe more involved now. But historically, I was a casual watcher at best, and I heard the tapes. I heard the voicemails of you talking to this person and what you said. So it's not a secret. Like, this is a secret that everybody knows. So just come clean about it. Look, I made a mistake. It was I felt lonely. I was by myself. I was vulnerable. This person came in and took advantage of my vulnerability. This happens every day. It's not something that's unique to Mary and Cody. There are guys and gals who neglect or take for granted the people that they're with, and you leave that person vulnerable. And if they have a friend at work or a guy or girl that they talk to, and they say that the person I'm with doesn't do this one thing, they never bring me flowers. This dude shows up with flowers. All of a sudden, he's one step closer to being with your people because all it takes is one good argument for, he's everything that the other guy is not. And I know, screw him. Next thing you know, bingo, bango. So don't leave your people vulnerable. And I'm not trying to I'm not making excuses I'm not trying to pardon bad behavior. I'm just saying that you have to protect your relationship. You have to guard your relationship.
Tanya, I think, asks an excellent question. So it's okay for Scody to cheat, but not Mary. I think that with all things being fair in a situation where if Cody was the ideal polygamist and treating his wives truly, fairly, and equally to the best of his abilities, then I would say Mary definitely was 100% in the wrong. But
right.
because of the fact that they all were consenting adults when they entered into this dynamic, then yeah, it was okay for him to have relationships with these other women, but the women were not supposed to go out and have relationships with other people. That was the setup that they all agreed to. However, I think very early on, Cody established that him being with his other wives was like cheating on Robin. So I think that's why I totally agree with Tanya. Like, it's okay for Cody to cheat, but not for Mary.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this. I think that one of the things I would say, don't agree to things you don't agree with. So by the nature of that relationship, Cody has reserves built into his relationship. So if he's not, he even said it during the I think it was episode 2 or 3 when he was sitting there with his brother and his friends having a conversation. The guy talk, and he said, "If I have a problem with one wife, I just leave her house, go to another wife, and I'll just go to another wife if I have a problem with her, and I just keep rotating, and that way I never have to deal with any problems." That also works with your appetites, both physical and sexual. If you're not getting it the way you want it from one wife, or you have a disagreement, there is no cutoff for Cody. Cody just goes to next door and gets his love tank filled. And these ladies,
You're killing me, James.
my eyes. Start stabbing your ears with your pencils. But the whole thing is that he has that ability, and that's why I say, like, I'm not a big fan, a huge fan of this type of relationship, because he has an out. He has emotional outs. He has sexual outs. If something happens in a relationship you don't like, one of the kids start acting up, deal with it. I'm going next door. And so there's always an escape hatch for him, and most of the burden in these relationships falls on the shoulders of these ladies, and it's not fair. It's not right. And I think that it's, in a way, he makes it sound like it's a higher calling for you to be able to have a cheat code. But to me, it's not more admirable that you can actually go over to another woman and solve your problems or have your needs met instead of dealing with the people that you committed yourself to.
I 100% agree.
Yep.
I thought that they touched on a lot of hot topics in the look back. They showed the dress, which was a big point of contention early on. So that whole fiasco, and it was, we see when Robin and Cody are separate, they both are making up tall tales. I actually I prefer them together. Cody does his fair share of talking over Robin, and that's annoying, but I feel at least it's more like we have more accountability from the two of them in a weird way. But so we get the talk about the dress scene. We get the Robin talks about how the kids didn't jump for joy when she was pregnant with Solomon. And we talked about Mary's IVF journey. This was a lot of like heavy hitting topics that were really difficult moments and maybe insurmountable moments for this family to overcome. I think all of these really led to fractures in the family. Cody totally sides with Robin over her perception that these kids weren't excited enough that she was pregnant with Solomon. What is your take on that, Amanda? I see you nodding your head.
I mean, yeah, they just can do no wrong. Like, no matter what they're shown, it's going to be, oh, we're the victims. How could my kids do this? How could our kids do this? It's just the same old story on repeat. We're not going to take any culpability for anything. Even, just Robin, we find out, wanted Cody to hide the fact that he the dress or whatever they
Right.
said. That in and of itself, like, how is that not, like, that's so obviously misleading and conniving and not being truthful. She wants her right away. She wants her soon-to-be husband to hide things from his other wives because they know what they did is wrong, even though they say in the episode it wasn't wrong. With the kids thing, I'm on the kids side. It's, how can they not understand? How can they not put themselves in their shoes and be like, oh, Cody barely has time to be with the kids he has. They've lived most of their life like fairly poor, and there's zero understanding for the children's point of view, which shows how immature they are.
Yeah, I mean, Truly was what, like a few months old when they announced Robin's pregnant. McKelty has told us in her Patreon videos a while ago that sometimes they had to eat stale bread. They weren't always there was food insecurity, there was a lot of financial insecurity in their family. So yeah, and their dad's attention was spread thin as it is. Now you're going to add another pardon me for not jumping for joy.
Yeah, there's kids in families where there's only 2 kids, and the parents will tell the kid, "Hey, we're having another kid," and the two kids will be like, "Oh, we're not going to be the favorite," or just the one kid, "Oh, I'm going to have to share the spotlight." So imagine that times like 20, or how, like it's crazy that there's not more understanding.
And even worse than that, because my daughter's 4 and my son is 7 months old, so there was an adjustment period there for sure. But not only that, in families this large with that many kids, there's like, not only is this my baby, but now it's your baby, because I'm busy with all of these babies. So Logan, I'm sure, was like, shit, man, like I don't.
Logan's like, "Are you serious? Come
Another
on."
kid that I'm gonna have to raise?
He's like, "I'm out of here,
Dad."
Well, I think that there's also that point, like you had mentioned earlier, Sarah, that when you throw in the food insecurities, just basic necessities that were lacking or the kids weren't getting, especially from Janelle's kids, you have a person who left the job once again because dad made a decision. And now all of a sudden you guys find yourselves in Vegas. Nobody is really settled at that point. I think they got pregnant actually by the time they told them, they all had their own individual rentals. But when they got to Vegas, they were pregnant in a big rental vacation home. So we don't even have a place to stay. And you two sexually irresponsible adults decide that we don't have a house, we don't know where we're going to work at. So why don't we have another baby? What could possibly go wrong? Like, and that's what the kids are looking at. And you have 15 and 16-year-olds who clearly have more reality when it comes to sexual responsibility than this 40, 50-year-old man and this 30, 40-year-old woman. And so from that respect, it's ridiculous. They already have 3 kids. Robin didn't work from day one when she came into the family. They were pumping money to the rental she had where he was driving 5 hours away. Then they were pumping money so she could live around the corner. Then they're taking care of them when they get to Vegas. And she's not working yet. And then they're looking at their mom from like Hunter and the rest of these guys, Logan and all them. Their mom is one of the chief breadwinners. I think that she, conspiracy theory from James, I think she was probably making more money than Cody. So she was probably the chief breadwinner. And she's taking everything she has already killed herself and put it on the family. And you guys go and do this. So these, when I looked at it, I was like, these guys look like parents. Like their teenage daughter and son came home talking about, Mom, I'm about to have a baby with Elizabeth. I love her. Great. That's another baby for me to take care of. Because that's the way the kids look. It's sad. It's a sad situation.
We have a very generous super chat from Australia.
Thank you, Andrea.
Okay.
I love the 3 different perspectives each of you bring to the colossal shit show that is Sister Wives. Amanda has me rolling on the floor laughing each week. Same.
There you go.
Same. Ms. Monica, the new empty nester. Don't tell Robin. She might send some to your house. Thank you very much. Shelly, thank you so much. I love y'all, and I couldn't find it to watch. They're definitely, if you're a member, if you join the Reality Squad Facebook group, people have been posting links, and I'm not.
Nice. Get in on that Facebook group.
It is not for me to,
Right.
So just to let you guys know. Sarcasm for fun. Thank you so much. If any one of you wants to pay me a minimal monthly subscription fee, I will create IDs for you on my cable network. LOL. Please hit the like on all 3 channels. This was earlier. I think we've fixed my foggy issue.
One thing that I was like surprised about the look back was how bitter Cody and Robin both seem. And maybe it's because they're showing a lot of clips, but they also showed clips of like Christine's jealousy and stuff like that. But Cody and Robin just seem so bitter, like at their own shittiness or something. Like I was shocked. Like, why are you guys bitter?
But you can see I can follow the logic here now when I'm watching Cody and Robin together, because as opposed to being like self-aware and objective and sitting there watching, God forbid they show Cody the scene of Gabe crying because he forgot his birthday. I don't know how Cody would spin that, but I'm sure he would find a way. Instead of being objective and looking at it like this person talking is conveying how they're feeling, that's not true. They did this wrong. They never did this. We canceled family game night because a couple of my kids like wanted to socialize when they were teenagers. So the rest of the whole other dozen members of the family, we quit game night because Logan wanted to go to the movies or whoever.
Right. Well, how do you have game night when the babysitters want a night off?
Exactly.
True. Good
That's
point.
the problem. Yeah. But even with that, I think that they were sitting there looking at it, and anything that makes them look bad, they don't want to talk about it or have anything to do with it. And unfortunately for them, because they've been so inconsistent, and because they're so desperately trying to construct their images, like even retrospectively, the story that they're telling now doesn't match the story that we've all seen from episode 1, season 1. So now Cody is a different guy because he's Mr. I hate everybody. I never loved anyone. Robin was the only one I loved. And then they show Cody, hey guys, this is my wife. I fell in love with Mary. I fell in love with Christine. And a little bit later, I fell in love. You know what I mean? I messed the order up, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, so now he has to go back on making himself look like a liar. And he essentially has to do what Mary said. Were you lying then or are you lying now? So were you lying when you...
Sorry,
when she said that, I was like, all right, get it. Because when she said that, I was like, that's been the point. Or were you lying when you said that the family was great? Were you lying when Robin said that everything was awesome? They welcomed them with open arms. The family felt secure, so I could take the rights away from my ex-husband and put them with Cody because the family was so welcome? Or are you telling the truth when you say that everybody hated Robin from the beginning and they've always tried to ostracize her and her kids? And Cody never treated the other 3 right. He was just merely doing their duty because that's what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why he's so angry, is because he realized he looks ridiculous.
Yeah, I really like this comment from Michelle. I don't know. My big thing is a lot of the things that they call jealousy. Jealousy is just plain an ordinary insecurity. Every time you feel bad because of some other person, it's not because of jealousy. Sometimes Christine's jealousy was her feeling like she was being treated like shit because she was being treated like shit.
Right.
But Cody gets to say, no, it's literally impossible for me to treat you poorly because you're jealous.
Right. Actually, I remember that jealousy segment. That was really hard for me to rewatch because I was kind of thinking like, it was founded. You should, not the, I like what Michelle was saying. Like maybe we're not saying the right word, but whatever Christine was feeling, she was justified. They all say now, as soon as Robin comes in, he's gravitating towards Robin. He's openly favoring Robin. He's openly favoring Robin's kids. He's tucking Robin's kids in, and he wouldn't do it for Christine. So Christine should have never had to apologize to Robin. She should have been having a conversation with Cody like we saw her so many times and being like, how dare you? How dare you?
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things, again, that puts me in mind of what I said about Mary as far as that vote. When I watched that, I'm like, Christine, why did you give this to that woman? Because the only thing Robin heard in that conversation was, Christine or Robin, I'm jealous of you. That's it. And that's what she's going to ride on to the end of days. Christine came to me and said how jealous she was. She could have talked to her for 4 hours, and the only thing she heard was, she's so jealous of me. And as you said, Sarah, at the end of the day, jealousy, fear, and a lot of the negative emotions are there for a reason. Sometimes it lets you know that you are being treated the way you deserve to be treated. And when Cody comes in and he even said, like, they believe that I had a favorite. He didn't say I didn't have a favorite. He just said I just treated everybody the best I could. Like, So you had a favorite, and they all recognize it because they're not dumb. They know that you like her, that you rather be with her. When you come over your house, you on the phone with her, talking at their dinner table, waiting for your kids to go to bed so he can run upstairs, go to sleep, and then jump up at 4 o'clock in the morning so he can run back to her house. They know what time it is.
One of the most shocking things that Cody said, and I forget which, if it was the tell or what, was even I did my best to be loving, even though I wasn't in love, or something like that. And then he sat as if it was during one of the tells. He sat and let Suki like marinate on that as if he should be applauded for his like
Mhm.
nobility, as if he deserves some sort of prize for being this polygamist that treated 3 women like shit, 3 human beings like crap, because he found love.
Right. So you're saying that he should have been his sacrifice should have been acknowledged instead of them stabbing him in the kidneys, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for throwing me a pity bang twice a year,
Right.
you know,
Once
like,
on your anniversary, once on your birthday.
right. Like, thanks for that. You deserve, and because, you know, I'll wear Robin's purple sweater if that makes it more palatable for you. Like, that's
Right.
where he was at. And it's the level of delusion, and we see it in the confessionals, but you really see it when he's sitting there and him and Robin are just vibing off of each other with like, they don't know you like I know you, like, you know,
Right.
you're just misunderstood. What at the end Robin says something like, I've never seen you like that, you've lost your optimism, and he's like, I've never gotten it back. He is so catastrophic in his
Yeah.
in how he speaks. It's unreal.
Yeah, the delusion and the the desire to be an Academy Award winning reality TV star is just it's incredible. It's incredible that the way they gaslight, the way they sit there, they deny, they watch all these scenes about Janelle and the boys and who's to blame, and they're just insistent that nope, it's all 100% Janelle. And every time we see the scene, they're like, nope, you didn't just watch that. That's not true. It's like, we just watched it. It is true. What are you talking about?
That's not what happened. I'll tell you what happened, and you'll believe me because I'm me. But I think at the end of the day, there's like that one funny thing about watching the two of them. The dynamic that they have is that they deny everything, and then they tell you that we are really good people. And what's scary to me is the fact that they say horrible things, and in their mind, they're okay with saying these horrible things because they think they're good people. They think what they're saying actually makes sense, which is actually kind of is reflective. Not to jump you, Sarah, but there was a point where Robin had said something to the effect of, "My conscience is clear. I can go and stand before God, and I will be fine." Because these lunatics don't realize that they're doing anything wrong. You know who else conscience is clear? Psychos
Yep.
and sociopaths. They have clear consciences too. You know, and that's kind of like I feel like that's where I'm dancing at.
Yeah, I agree, because I think that when any of us meet our maker, we're all worried about some of the things we might have to answer for. It's only natural to not worry and have people telling you you messed up in ABC situation, and you say my conscience is clear.
Right. You know what it's like? It's like when you get in trouble with your like you get a message, you go into the office or whatever, and all of a sudden you got your thing, you check your message and your boss wants to see you in the office. Nobody's like, my conscience is clear. You know, your parents call you, come on downstairs, I want to talk to you. No, or even your romantic other, your significant other. Anytime they say they want to have a conversation with you, what they want to talk about is you and how you messing up. So nobody ever goes down like, I'm fine. I don't care what she's talking about. It's okay. No, you're always nervous, but not these psychos. Everything I did was perfect. I don't know what the problem is. So what? I took these women away from their husband stripped all the money out of the family and bought myself a big old house. I don't know what the problem is. Why are they upset? So it's crazy.
Yep. Michelle, narcissists think differently than you or I. It's hard to try to rationalize someone's actions that's so clearly irrational because, it isn't over till it's over. I think there's always a chance, and there should always be a chance for reconciliation between family members. That's just my personal viewpoint. Obviously, when people go no contact with family members, there's a reason. There's some extreme toxicity. Cody's has people begging. His family members are begging for a relationship with him. And his reasonings for not having relationships with his children his reasons are bullshit, in my opinion. And it's really tragic that, God, life is such a fragile thing. And tomorrow isn't promised and all this other, floofy stuff.
Really deep and dark stuff. Yeah, I got you.
I'm having...
Live like no.
My dad is currently in the ICU, and it's just like to know that, like, how like life is such a fragile thing, and
right.
to have someone want to have a relationship with you, and in my opinion, there's no good reason for Cody to say, "I'm not going to have a relationship with my child because of whatever, because they're a serial killer or something." That would be a good reason. Because they
you turn them in, but you still go visit.
Sorry, James, what'd you say?
I said you turn them in, but you still go visit. Yeah. I'm calling the cops.
I always said my mom would be the first one to drag me to the police station and say, "Officers, it was her. I love you, Sarah, but you did the crime. You got to pay the time."
Right. I'll see you on Sunday.
Yes, exactly. I'll put some money on your books for some Diet Coke if they have it. Lord knows I'd probably get a Pepsi prison, and then that would really be a bummer.
Right. But I think you're on point, because when you talk about it, I kind of mentioned this before too, is that there seems to be a thing where Cody takes for granted time. And I feel you on that. And I'm sorry to hear about your dad.
It's okay, you guys. He's okay at the moment. Every day's a journey. Okay. He just real quick, so as to not sound super ominous, he had a blood clot in his abdomen, and he had to have emergency surgery. And he had he lost half of his small intestine. But he is on the road to recovery right now. So that is where we're at. Well, every day is a journey. And it really, the only reason why I brought that up is because it's so infuriating to see Gabe sit there and cry over wanting a relationship with his father. Like, my kids, like I said, they would have to do something real gnarly for me to not, like, I am at my kids' beck and call always, So
right.
You're a good mom, Sarah.
And now we're having is a Pepsi prison really a bad thing? I love that this is where the conversation is going. You guys are my people. Someone said not a Pepsi prison, and another person said, Pepsi, I'll take a Pepsi prison.
But the whole thing is that, like, I think that you have to look at it from the other way too, because as parents, one of the challenges has always been that we assume that we'll be the first to go. And when I did my live on a Friday, there was a young lady who had said that, or shared with the group, that her son had passed away. I don't want to holler her name out here because I don't know about whether she's comfortable with it or not, but she had shared with us that her son had passed away at 21. While he was away at school. So, Gabe, Garrison, these guys are about that same age. And you sit there and think, well, I'll just worry about them. I'll get back to them when I get time. And I'll give it a few years for us to be able to settle down and settle in. But you're not life is fragile, and you're not guaranteed that they'll be around in a couple of years. So you want to take every opportunity you can to be able to spend that time with them. Heal those relationships if you can. It's on you. As Amanda had mentioned earlier, when they were sitting, Robin and Cody were sitting there talking. Robin had looked up. You want to have a relationship with your sons, don't you? You want to have a relationship with all your kids, don't you? Well, if you want to have a relationship with your kids, especially these adult children who you don't get along with their mom, they have their own houses. Most of the kids don't even live with their moms. So the fact you don't call them, Cody, would mean that you are messing up because you're making a decision not to talk to them. It's not a matter of I need them to talk to their mom so I can get through. They're adults. So you can call them anytime you want. You could go spend time with them anytime you want. You can fly them out to you. You could go meet in the park. Do what you have to do so that you can heal that relationship if you really want to. And this is where I kind of fall along the side of you guys are full of shit because you're not genuinely trying to have these relationships. You just know it sounds bad that you don't. And so you're saying that you want.
Cody just needs to go to therapy with Dr. James. Like, you need to tell him this. He needs to hear this. The producers need to say it. Somebody needs to say it to him. It's so frustrating that he has this messed up belief that he's mad at the mom, and so he's writing the kids off. Like, what is that? That's terrible.
Right.
I did want to bring up a point that Shanice, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, said in the chat. And she said, it was interesting how Cody got upset when Christine said she was happy that they weren't married anymore.
Oh, I saw that comment as well.
I found that really interesting as well. Like how angry. And I thought like his ego is just so big. He cannot stand it that she is so much better off. And it proves him wrong because how many times did he say, you're not going to be able to find a man. Nobody's going to want you.
Right.
You're not going to be happier after you leave me. And she has clearly proved that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, snapped it out the park wrong.
Debbie says, am I the only one who noticed Sabin's new wedding ring looks like Christine's ring from David, but the center stone on Sabin's is bigger? I have noticed her new ring. I did notice that it's very similar style. It's like multiple, there's like gold and silver like woven together with the rock in the middle. I think Robin is just spending money until the wheels fall off of the bank account. What do you guys think? Because as soon as I think it was all like quick, let's spend money. And then before the wives, Mary and Janelle really pulled their funding out.
And who was it? Which OG noticed how big Robin's house was? I think it was Christine. Christine was like, look at what Janelle. Christine was all of us watching this season back. Look at what Janelle's living in. And look at the mansion Robin and Cody are living in.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunday.
Thank you, Sunday.
Elizabeth said, missing on streaming, the knife in the kidneys. It really is. After all of these years, they advertised it during streaming, during the specials. It is crazy. Sorry, I'm catching up on super chats. You guys are so generous. Thank you so much. Robin cries from guilt. I think that is definitely a good point.
That was some performance. I tried to do my own version of a little bit. That was the scrunching up of the face. How do I get this off the screen? Like, that was like, oh, okay, and scene.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the Oscar goes to.
If only they're really trying for Emmy nominations. Like, they saw that Vanderpump Rules got nominated for an Emmy, and they're really going for it. Fog Flower says, Amanda, I hope you feel well and your family is okay.
Thank you, Fog Flower. I've gotten to spend a lot of time with my family a week ago, and I'm still slightly congested. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have so much more energy. My eyes aren't goopy. I'm feeling so much better.
That is great news. The colds that have been going around this season, some of the worst I've seen. It's been real gnarly.
Oh, speaking of seeing things, a lot of people online were discussing the wine collection behind Janelle in the talkback. Janelle and Christine, they have become wine aficionados since their
Right.
breakup with Cody.
I will say, as someone who used to, in April I will be 2 years sober, so
Ooh,
I
that's
haven't had
awesome.
a drink in quite
Okay.
some time. But as someone who used to drink a lot of wine, I never had wine did not last long in my house. So I would have never had a collection worth collecting. So it is funny that Janelle decides to. I don't know. I feel like that kind of sent a message too, right? Because she's not this prim and proper Mormon anymore. If she's
Right.
gonna
Right.
if she's gonna hold up in front of her wine collection to do the look back or talk, whichever one she did that in. But yeah, it was funny.
MFC or MCF.
Hold on one second. I'm just trying to get caught up, you guys. Wine is wonderful. I was a little too wonderful with the wine, so it had to go. And thank you, Heather. Thank you. I think I missed a couple. Sabin is weirdly obsessed with Christine. We can't go into the hoarder house because she probably has a shrine of jealousy to Christine. Maybe it's a voodoo doll collection.
Ooh. You know, one thing I didn't understand is one more time, once again in the talk back, Robin reiterates at one point, I don't understand. And I'm like, how can you not understand? What is going on in Robert's mind that she's like, oh, I don't. She said it one more time and it blew my mind. It blew my mind when she said it during season 18 and it still continues to blow my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really Robin. Sorry, I'm just trying to field some text messages. Robin has such an interesting take on the world.
It's in her mind.
And, usually I can sit back and say, okay, I can see how you got there. I cannot see how, I don't understand how Robin, this family has been falling apart, and this has to have been a foreseeable conclusion that wives would start to leave, and if one left, it'd be a domino effect. That Robin could sit there and claim to want the family and be so upset about the family breaking apart when she has no history or no resume to back up her claims. There's nothing in her actions in the past over the last 14 years for her that she could point to and say, I did this to keep this family together.
And Cody is sitting next to her going, I don't love any of them. I was never in love with any of them. How can you then be like, but why aren't they staying and just go out to the pasture and just be happy with I want to be like,
Right. Well, because I think that it comes down to her sitting there saying to herself, what works for me? And she kind of reminds me of a student who doesn't study for a test, but they want to be an A student. I want to be able to speak during graduation. Why am I not the valedictorian? Because you don't know how to write your name, Jimmy. So it's that very thing. She thinks that I simply want the Sister Wives Association. I want to be able to have the big holidays, the big birthdays and the celebrations and the graduations. But I don't want these ladies being able to take claim to my husband. I don't want to go over to their house and I don't want to associate with them, but for those special events. And so she likes the title. She just doesn't like the work that goes along with being that thing. And it is crazy as hell because, again, like you said, Amanda, it's watching a selfish ass person trying to justify why they're not getting the things that they want out of these relationships. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't serve them, and even if it's horrible for you, I was having a great time. I mean, I got she's owned 2 houses since she started. She has her name on all kinds of land. This is the best time of her life. I don't understand why people think it's a bad time. I don't know what the problem is. You know what I mean?
Polygamy is great if you're Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
She's
Why
like, I'm
can't
winning.
just go live in your camper? What's the big deal? So what?
Right.
I
Hey,
love
just keep sending that check.
I loved Christine pointing out the vast disparity
Right.
in Janelle and Robin's living situation. Christine was and maybe it was the wine, but Christine was coming with the sass, and I was very much enjoying it. Daughter
Yeah,
of Jay says Robin's ex-husband is Christine's first cousin. This is the family wreath, right? It's not a tree. It's just a circular wreath.
Right.
I understand Christine's distrust in her. Christine most likely already knew of her. Probably.
Oh, that
Right.
reminds me. Did you all believe I think it was in the clip of the flashback. I don't think it was new content, but I forgot that this existed. Did you believe that if the three wives or one of them had said no to Robin coming in, that somehow that would have impacted and she wouldn't have come into the family? Because I didn't buy that at all.
I don't buy it at all, because the kids, weren't they sat down, told to shut up, told this is how it is, accept it, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure Cody had a similar conversation with his wives. Like, shut up. This is how it is.
It's too bad. Stop being jealous. And that's why I'm so triggered by that word, because he uses it as a weapon to try to get them to do what he wants. You don't want to be jealous. Don't be negative, because you're being jealous. And if you're jealous, that's like sinning. And if you don't want to be a sinner, so you want to be closer to God, so you have to shut up and be sweet and put a smile on your face and pray. Yeah, it's the same thing. Because if you look at when they did the announcement, I'm sorry if I ran anybody over, but when they did the announcement, look at Christine's face. Did she look like she was welcoming Robin into the family? She didn't look excited and bubbling with joy that this woman is coming into her family. She looked like she could chew up nails and spit through a board. Like, she was not happy at all. So from that regard, I know Cody got some pushback, and I know Cody was sitting there saying, that's too bad, so sad. She's going to be here Monday, so you might as well get used to it.
Yeah.
And he forced her ass in. You know what I mean? It was just rough.
And also, I'm sure he didn't set them up to have that, when you're immediately paying for her rent and going down there every weekend, giving up time with the kids and the wives that you're already married to for the new 10 years younger, hot diesel jeans model coming in, and they told us in these specials, we wanted to make it work. We were trying. And so they were in the frame of mind that they felt they had to try. So even, I'm sure they did, especially Christine on camera voiced her concern, but that's despite Cody setting them up to not be able to voice that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we also have to keep in mind, too, that when he was running over 3 hours, 5 hours, 300 miles away to go see this other woman, he had a wife at home who was full on pregnant. And she had already had a miscarriage that took her to the hospital. So you lost the baby, almost lost the wife. She's pregnant again, which puts her in the high risk category. And you decide to shake your little tail out 5 hours away to go see somebody else. People aren't going to be happy in that situation. And I don't understand how, like, Robin's sitting on the couch, like, I don't understand. If everybody loved the fact that I was coming into the family. There was one more part, though. When they showed the recap of when he went out to visit Robin, and she was hugging everybody, and he was sitting on the couch, and he was like, death staring in the behind. Like, it was the most ridiculous thing. I was like, Cody's always been a pig. Like, this dude has always been a pig. Like, he was looking at her like, what's that over there? Like, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Staring
like,
at her lack of behind.
Yeah. The pockets. He was staring at the pockets.
Emma said that.
He's like, oh, those are diesel jeans.
She smells. Emma, you are not misremembering the 90s. Hold on one second. You three are great. Amanda is hot and funny. No lies detected. No lies detected. I think this comment was to the catfish incident, and I was floored. So Robin participated or planned it. I think she knew more, and the fact that they talked about this mutual friend that we know off the series vouched for this Samuel Jacob Cooper catfisher, and this person appears on the show as Robin's best friend. There is some fishy shenanigans, and that is very interesting.
Yeah, why would the friend confirm the catfish was real when, like, we obviously know it was a psycho named Jackie? Like, what is the motive for her to do that? What's going on?
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. And,
Good.
oh, Giggling Chaos says that I remind myself Mary is the OG victim of Cody.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What were you going to say, James?
Here's a point that I thought of. Isn't it weird how Robin had said, even during, I think it was during one of Talk Back, Look Back, who knows? But it was at one point when they were talking to the Talk Back, Look Back, when they were talking about the catfish. She said, I knew about it, and I was just trying to make a way that Mary could leave the family. Now, isn't it funny that she was trying to make a way for Mary to leave the family with this catfish person way back when it was happening, what, about 5, 6 seasons ago? But this season, she's sitting there losing her mind because the family is no longer together. So you were okay with Mary leaving. And of the sister wives, Mary is the one who is closest to her. That's the one that, if you had to say between these three ladies, which one is your friend? I would say Mary is Robin's, probably closest to Robin's friend. Because she's not cool with Janelle, and she's damn sure not cool with Christine, not even by a yard. So it's weird to me that when you're okay with Mary leaving, but all of a sudden you're crying like crazy because Christine is leaving. I got a theory behind that too. Like I think the reason why they're upset is because Christine is the family. Because if you look at how the family came up, Christine was the one who, right or wrong or whatever the case may be, they all agreed that Janelle was going to work, Cody was going to work, Mary was going to work, and Christine was going to watch the kids.
Yep.
All the kids grew up with Christine, and right or wrong, they see Christine as their mom. Mm-hmm. They see her as their mother. Even Janelle admits that her kids are closer to Christine than she is. So when Christine leaves, Christine, right or wrong, takes the whole damn family with her. Christine is the family. She's the glue that kept the whole thing together.
And that makes sense, James, onto why Robin hates Christine more than Janelle, seemingly, because I think it's correct to say, like, yeah, Christine leaving, that blows the dynamics up. That's it. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be the same again.
Right. And there was, because, I'm sorry.
No. You go.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. There was one point, because even to compound on what you said, Amanda, there was one point where they were sitting at, they were talking about the holidays. This is, I think, season 15, 16, when they were talking about the holidays and who was going to go where for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And Janelle sat there and said, yeah, Cody, my kids said that they will go wherever Christine goes. And Christine said, oh, that's a lot of pressure for me. And I looked at Cody's face, and I knew at that moment Christine's ass was in trouble. Because what it showed to Cody was that these kids are far more loyal to Christine than they are to Cody. They weren't worried about what Cody and Robin and anybody else was doing. They were trying to spend the holidays with Christine. And that pissed Cody off. And that was like right before the whole Isabel thing. Matter of fact, it was the same season. It was right before the whole Isabel going away for her thing. Because he was mad as hell about Christine.
Oh, this super chat actually pertains to what you just said. Do you think that they'll address Sister Wives Closet or the Purity chat or Isabel's surgery or the anthropologist visit? A lot. I mean, they hit on some touchy points. This would get real spicy real fast if they touched on those. What do you guys think? I think that they could potentially hit on my Sister Wives Closet, the anthropologist visit. I could totally see that. I think Cody will put a hard stop to him rewatching any scene with his kids crying. We see him flip out in a sneak peek or a teaser for the next one of the next specials that he doesn't want to watch the fight between he and Janelle. I can't imagine he would willingly sit and watch Gabe or Isabel or one of his kids
Right.
question his parenting on the show.
Yeah, no,
Always.
he's never gonna let them because there's nothing he can say. He can't,
Right.
especially if they did like all the YouTubers and they play the dancing clip right after the clip of him not going to Isabel's surgery. He's not, and I'm actually a little confused. Why is he so upset to watch that fight? Is it because he's with Robin? Because they already watched the fight in one of the tell-alls.
I
Well, I have a theory.
go ahead.
Okay.
James. No. You
No,
go.
no. I'm sorry. But I think that my theory is this. I think that when they shot the fight, when Cody addressed, because the hard fast rule to any of these reality shows is you never address the camera. So when Cody was having this fight, he looked right at the camera and said, "You tell the world what it is," because he wanted to get that whole thing cut out. Because I guess he didn't like the way he appeared in it or some of the things he was saying in it. And when TLC went back and played it anyway, I think he blew, because that was a big blow up between the two of them. Like him and Christine getting an argument like that, and him yelling at Christine, that's one thing. But he's fresh off the argument with Christine, and now he's here arguing, getting an almost a knockdown with Janelle, and he tried to stop it, and TLC did it anyway. So I think that's part of the reason why he's so angry with. He's not just angry at the scene itself and what happened, but I think he's angry with TLC because they played.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it's borderline not appropriate too, because he's really up in Janelle's face and very angry and aggressive.
Yes.
It makes you think, if this is what he does on camera, what does he do off camera?
Yes.
Right.
100%. James, Emma says that Mary hasn't gotten her tires rotated in a while, lives rent-free in her head. James, you have the best quips.
Yeah. Tires rotated. Yeah, right. I don't know what I'll be thinking. I'm sorry, y'all.
No.
Thank you so much, though.
Says Cody cheated with Robin before they were married. I agree with that. I subscribe to that theory. They had that look.
Yeah, especially Cody. Look, I'm gonna tell you from a guy's perspective. You can ask your husbands, ask your brothers, ask your friends. A man is not driving 5 damn hours to see somebody to go sit on the couch and hold their hand. You know what I mean? Like I'll see you on the weekend. You know what I mean? Maybe 3 months from now.
You were doing Bible study, James. Come on, Bible study in the 2-seater car.
Right. The car that keeps so many memories. Yeah. No.
Andrea says, am I the only one that would like to see the OG3 all reconnect and reconcile? If only so I can watch Christine tackle Mary.
Yes, I love that they played that clip. I love anytime they flashback. I hate the flashbacks in general, but when they show us the clip of Christine tackling Mary, it just gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps.
Right.
You know, there was some underlying like it was cathartic for her in a lot of ways, I think.
Right.
And a little bit hot.
Yeah.
Do it slower, run slower.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here is where who I think she was referring to. Pluck junk from our trunk reveals the true background. You guys, this is a YouTube channel, I believe, that currently lives in a house. I don't know if it's the Lehigh house or one of the other houses that Robin previously lived in, but they currently live in one of those houses. And if you search for that, Pluck junk from our trunk, they talk about, I think they knew Robin or know Robin's family. They know the Jessups. So I do apologize. I did not mean to skip that.
There's been a lot of stuff
in the community.
There's been some stuff coming up about Robin lately. I saw something, and I don't know if this is true, but allegedly she left her ex, David Jessup, like $20,000 or $30,000 in debt.
Yes.
Yeah, some interesting things. And I'm like, oh yeah, that 100% matches the Robin we've been shown for 18 seasons.
Well, it's actually hilarious too, because one of the things Cody said was, I vetted Robin differently. I vetted Robin hard. I really vetted Robin. I'm like, yeah, but this is the same lady who financially ruined her ex-husband. From my understanding, he had his own business. Like this dude had his own legit business, and she bankrupted his business and bankrupted the family. Then they borrowed a bunch of money, and she took that and spent that money up. Like so, it was insane. Like
Yeah,
the Mr. I'm vetting him.
I heard that his family had given them money to pay off her credit card debt,
Right.
and that I haven't independently verified that information, but I did hear that, and that is messed up.
Right.
Because we
Right.
see her spending habits now with how little she financially contributes to the family. So
But she has nice stuff. And actually, there was a point too when they were talking. When you guys were talking about the ring, like her going out buying a ring that was duplicate of Christine's ring. It puts me in mind of the fact of keeping up with the Joneses. Like she's in competition with Christine, and she's trying to keep up with Christine. The only difference is TLC is where Cody gets his money. David Woolley gets his money independent of the show. So when the show is over, he's still going to have an income. And when the show is over, Cody won't. So they have to be a little more responsible with the money that they get in because their money might not be replenished. Like you guys are howling the hog now, but you're maybe about 1 or 2 seasons possibly of getting kicked off the show and them kind of following as all the fans are calling for. They start following Christine and Janelle, and they don't need a Cody or a Robin anymore. So they should be stacking them pennies.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one interesting turn the fans have taken is a lot more fans now are calling for, can we not fund this jerk, this toxic man's $1 million house lifestyle? Yeah, so his sweet payday is definitely going to run out, and I'll be curious to see if he starts doing more cameos or what.
Yeah. Well, his payday just got divided by 5, or at least divided by 5, and he gets bits of that pie now, whereas before he was getting 100% of the pie. So I will never forget how Logan, Maddie, and Hunter looked when Robin announced her pregnancy. I was pissed for those kids. And I'm sorry, you guys, if I'm going back and we're catching up on Super Chat, so I apologize for rehashing what things we have already talked about. But I'm sorry. First of all, me at 15, if my mom announced that she was pregnant and I was 15, I'd be like, ew. That would have just been my, like, I don't want a baby. Like I'm the baby. I have an older brother. I don't want what? No. When you guys were saying like with 2 kids, it's an adjustment to bring another child into the family. Yeah, with 18, or well, at that time 13 plus 3, existing ones, it was not fair to these kids. They didn't have a choice of being on the show, and they didn't have a choice of their dad siring all these kids with all these women.
And I think that's part of the challenge too, because Cody, the patriarch, the master of the home, he should have realized, like, if you're not spending quality time with your children, because it's one thing for you to go out and say, I have 3 wives and I'm trying to, apparently fill a school bus. Like that's what his goal in life was.
Yeah.
Even if that was the case, at least cut some time out for these kids. There's no way, I don't care how good you are with scheduling, there's no way that you're spending quality time with these kids and meeting these kids' needs when you have 13 of them. Then you add some more kids for, for this whole situation. So you throw, you have 13, you throw another 3 on top of it because, hey, shits and giggles, I got a free hour on the weekend. So you throw 3 more kids on top of it. Then all of a sudden you're saying, I'm going to start making some more children. Like that. How many times, what kind of ego do you have that you think the world needs more of you? That's kind of where I'm at with that. Like you just keep hitting the copy button. Take it easy, bro. Like some of these kids grow up. And even with, like I said before, with them pushing them on to these older kids, of course they're going to look sad because who's watching these mothers? Because you guys are too busy with everything you're doing. Now all of a sudden we're watching more kids.
Exactly. I'm sure that with the Duggars, they were not thrilled either every time Michelle announced that she was pregnant, because it was like, oh great, I am a parent at 13.
Right.
Linda in the chat compared Cody to Nick Cannon.
I don't like that either.
He
But at least
wishes
Nick
he had
Cannon
Nick
got
Cannon's
money.
hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I saw a thing, I think it was on like TMZ, that Nick Cannon spends over $200,000 a year on Disney, taking
Wow.
his kids to Disney. And yeah,
I can
that's
see that.
about how much it would cost to take, how many does he have? 12 kids to Disney?
He's trying to rival Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monica said, you three and IG are my top 4 content creators on YouTube. Awesome. Thank you, Monica.
Oh, thank
Thanks,
you.
Monica.
Okay. Oh my God, it's Nance. They showed how they should show Cody and Caleb the bromance. That bromance, and Maddie's husband, Caleb, is, I don't know if that's still going
Yeah, I
strong.
think they broke up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maddie has turned.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the thoughts for my dad. He's a fighter, that guy. So he's in awesome hands for sure. Gypsy Trail says Robin is smart. She asked the wives to release her as Cody's only wife, so it's documented, and now looks miserable so she can divorce him and not get sued for all the assets.
I don't know. On their talk back, they were very attached. I mean, Cody had that hand firmly on the thigh, and I noticed Robin's was firmly on top. I think it's an act. I'm not saying she won't leave him at some point, because we all know Robin's about the money. But for now, I think it'll be a long time before we all get our little fantasies fulfilled of Cody getting dumped by his fave.
Right. Well, I mean, especially as long as them checks keep hitting the door. Like the time to start looking is when the money start coming up short. So look for that. If the money come up short as a kindergarten standing in the ditch, then yeah, Cody's getting dumped.
They need to cancel the show so that Robin thinks the money's stopped, and then once she leaves him, we're gonna renew you again. Here's some new contracts.
Yeah, and she'll be like,
She's like, oh, Cody.
it's like was it Croy and was the Real
Oh,
Housewives?
Zodiac, Kim Zodiac.
It's aren't every other day they're divorcing, then they're not divorcing. It's gonna be like that.
Right. When they talk about giving you a show, what?
Yeah,
You need to get back together.
Yeah, I feel the love again suddenly.
Right.
Maybe Cody forgets that the other mothers don't run their kids' lives like Robin rules hers. Robin's kids are so stunted and controlled. It's so sad. It really is sad. And the fact that Robin is on the show saying that her kids come to her and tell her they don't feel like safe having in the sibling group chat and stuff like that. It's like, first of all, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds don't talk like that. They don't.
Right.
They don't go to their mom and say, like, this text conversation with my siblings makes me feel not safe. I have been in therapy since I was 19 years old. I did not talk like that when I was like 19, 20 in my like early 20s. So,
well, can I say something? I want to say something about the text thing. When it comes down to the whole text situation, we also have to keep in mind that Robin has been trying to hold herself out as this lightning rod of a lot of issues and problems from the older kids who are mad at her because she took the father away. If that is the case, Robin should have had the maturity to understand it by her simply walking into or calling into the text message or jumping on the text chain. It was going to create a division between the siblings automatically, because you're going to have the siblings who are mad at you, like everybody's getting along. All of a sudden, Robin jumps in it. Then you have the siblings who are mad at you on one end, and you have your kids on the other end trying to defend you. So by her getting involved, even, hey, guys, what's going on? It creates a problem. And if she was such a great therapist and she understood so much about the family dynamic, she should have understood that. And if you let your damn kids, that's their brothers and sisters. Let them have their conversation, because their relationship has nothing to do with you. If you having issues with those kids, you have issues with those kids. That has nothing to do with your kids. Let them be able to communicate and talk amongst each other, because you doing that, your problems is your problems, and you'll get over your problems and your kids will still be carrying that water for those problems. And it can create, again, it creates a break in the family. This is part of the reason why Christine was the better caretaker for the kids, actually. I mean, it's like that in real life, you actually get to see it.
James, Robin is a terrible therapist. She's a horrible translator. Look at what the dynamic, all the relationships stand. She's like, I'm the best cheerleader. I'm the best translator. You suck, Robin. You suck at translating and cheerleading and being the therapist. All the relationships are tattered. And you haven't. Maybe it's because of her, but it certainly hasn't been helped by Robin.
Right. She's like she's like an airplane pilot who puts on their resume, yeah, I've had 50 flights and 49 of them have crashed. I'm a great pilot. Like, you don't get out of here, I'm gonna have you arrested. Like,
she's flying those Spirit airline flights.
Right? The population controls.
Reese asked, do you guys think Joe Darger and his wives are still together, or is he clutching his pearls watching with them? I don't know. I haven't kept up with the Dargers.
They were still together as of like a few months ago. Because I was curious about that too. He made a comment that he thought it was Cody's fault that the relationships didn't work out with the OGs.
Mm-hmm.
Gypsy Trail says Robin will get 50% of everything because they acknowledged her as the only wife and cannot go after anything. We will see. I would love to see a lawsuit and follow that and have that play out. And watch all the YouTube lawyers analyze.
What are we going to do now? Yeah. The only thing that makes me nervous. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just wanted to let y'all know I love you, hugs, and thank you for this throuple.
Thanks, Wonderlust.
Thank you.
What were you gonna say, James?
The only thing that makes me nervous about any lawsuit or legal action or litigation is the statute of limitations on the money going to her, borrowing it, and what she did with it, or even from the misappropriation of funds. Like, that's not an unlimited timetable. So if the OG3 are going to do anything, they have to start acting now, start talking to attorneys now, contact accountants so that you can start getting those books broke open. Because otherwise, if you don't get a pleading in, then you very well might find yourself out of luck.
We need you watching. Okay, who is a lawyer? There's got to be at least a few lawyers watching. Contact them and be like, I'll do this pro bono. Do it for the fans, okay?
Do it for the fans. Yes. I love this. Cody and Robin's sacred covenant is mutual misery. I can get behind that.
Robin, the whole talk back is just like,
yeah, right. The secret covenant I made with you.
Yeah. It's to not exist in this pitiful place.
Right. Remember when I heard that, I was thinking he was about 2 seconds off and said, remember when we were talking shit about these three women and I told you I would never have you looking like these three? Remember that? That was our secret covenant. Right. Yeah. I would never do you like I do them. Remember that?
As a math teacher, I get a kick out of your student analogy, James. I'm dying. LOL.
See, she can add it up. She get it.
Yeah. Jenny says, I got a late start tonight, but I also giggled when Robin ran off the stage. So dramatic.
I was dying. I was like,
and it's so funny to, like, you can tell, like, she forgot, oh crap, I'm all wired up. I'm like tied down.
Yeah.
This isn't exactly the dramatic moment I thought it was going to be.
I mean, she should have just slammed the iPad down. That would have been her knife in the kidneys moment. Like, she lost out.
She wanted that moment that Cody had for herself.
Right.
Yeah. I keep saying Christine was the heart and soul. Janelle was the brains and breadwinner. Robin, a colon parasite. Cody, the anus. And Mary was the appendix of the family. The appendix being something that's nice to have, but not necessary, right? Like, you can live without it for sure. Disney Duchess says, hey team, I think Kotex is having a midlife crisis and trying to play it off as a Shakespearean tragedy. Yeah. What do you think? Is this a midlife crisis?
Oh,
him falling for Robin was the midlife crisis.
mhm.
He wanted
I
a
think that
new hot wife.
right, and even to tag team off what Amanda was saying, I think that the hot wife, the motorcycle, the sports cars, convertible sports cars, we have 13 kids at home, ridiculous, but that was the midnight life crisis. Though what he's going through now is the consequences end of the midlife crisis. When you turn your back on the ones who help build you up and the one to put you in a position to be able to enjoy the life and lifestyle that you have now. Once you turn your back on them, you start to realize you go out there on that limb and you start cutting it off. You start to realize that you done messed up, bro. And you start looking back at I remember I used to have way more money in my bank account and I wasn't getting all the creditors calling me. That's because Janelle was making sure the bills were paid and you had assistance and you don't have those things now. And the ironic part about I'm sorry, I'm kind of going on, but the ironic part about it is that, especially speaking from a guy's perspective, when you look at guys who go out and start cheating on their wives or whatever, they're married for a little while and they start stepping out, they go for that young lady who isn't their wife. And they think that, to a point is interchangeable. So if I have this girl, she'll do the same thing my wife used to do. No, bro. No, bro. They're two different people. From two different things. You got a maker and a taker. You got a builder and a spender. The problem is that you don't recognize that you were in that position because you were with this person who supported you through all those tough times. And now you're with this person who only knows how to take advantage of the man you are today. So if you ever lose everything, you can never get back to where you were because your companion isn't the person that's going to help you rebuild and put you back to where you were. And I think that's where Cody is. That's why his ass sitting there looking all grumpy. He looking like he washing his face with sandpaper. You know what I mean?
He's in the finding out phase. He effed around and he is finding out.
Yes.
That intersection is.
Yeah, I have a few more super chats to get to, and then we're going to wrap up for the night, you guys. Okay. I did not mean to just punch my laptop. I apologize. May said 100. The tackle. It was a hot tackle, Amanda.
One of my favorite clips of all time of the whole show.
Yep. Amber says, loving the vibe here. This has been more entertaining than the talk back and look back combined. Step up your game, TLC. At least make it available for people.
Right.
Jeez, Louise, man. It's so frustrating. And then Lee says, Christine said she gave the land for the family. Christine, I mean, best case scenario when you're divorcing someone is how Christine made out. I'll take my house, whatever's wrapped up with Coyote Pie, you can have that.
Yeah, Prairie Ship Pond.
Yeah, let's just call it a day. Bye. We're divorced. Like, they didn't have to file paperwork. That was like easy breezy.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I've noticed through this whole divorce thing is how convenient to get a divorce when you were only just married in your heads.
Right.
Makes it easier or harder, depending on your perspective.
I mean, Robin certainly has a whole list of things that Christine had to do to get divorced, but I think Christine did all those things. So there it is.
Well, it's great if you're Christine. It's horrible if you're Janelle. And I think that's kind of and it's the sad part with a lot of the relationships as it's set up in the polygamous culture is that more people find themselves in a position that Janelle is in than they do in Christine's position, where they take advantage of you, they suck you dry, and then all of a sudden, like, I want to leave. This isn't working out. Well, good luck. Enjoy that lint in your pocket, and then off you go. So
this family, these kids are all anomalies really in these fundamental polygamous sects because they're college educated, a lot of the kids. A lot of people that grow up in similar circumstances have not found resources the way the Brown family has, and a lot of that is because of the show has opened has exposed the kids to other lifestyles, to other people, other walks of life, and it's not just this little bubble. So that I
Right.
think that's been like a really good thing to come out of the show. It's unfortunate that it I'm still on the fence with whether or not I believe the show played any part in the destruction of this family, because I don't think Cody was a very good head of household. So I think that they ultimately, I think we would have gotten here eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
I
no,
think
please.
that, oh, go ahead, James.
No, please.
Oh, I was gonna say I think that the show certainly emboldened the women. I'm not sure if we would have seen Christine leave either the way she did or at all. But certainly I think it empowered all of these women to be more independent.
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree. I think that at the end of the day, they were headed this way anyway because Cody's fixation with Robin, it would have stamped out any life within the family. But the very subtle difference, as you intimated, was that by them having the show and the resources that came along with the show, they were able to walk out of the relationships as opposed to being, limping out or being drug out of the relationships. Because eventually they would have been drummed out because out of necessity they would have been drummed out because Cody is focusing so heavily on Robin. The ironic part is, had it not been for the show, there very well may never have been a Robin
Yeah.
for him to be in love with,
Yeah.
because I'm sure that played a big part in it.
Yeah, is Robin really like pulling it out to the end if they're still living dirt poor, eating stale bread, squished into, Lord knows what circumstances? I don't see that happening.
No, if
No.
Robin had to live in like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house, no.
You're struggling, right?
She has
You mean
too
Miss
much stuff.
right? The Miss, I gotta buy my pants from Victoria's Secrets because I have a large inseam, Robin? Nah, no. I have to buy my underwear special. There's no way she's not riding broke. She ain't riding the bus with you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for all your super chats, well wishes, for participating in the chat,
Right.
for streaming here with us. We have over 3,500 people streaming through all 3 of our channels right now. That is awesome. Please, if you haven't yet, HBO, help a brother out and subscribe to
Right.
James, subscribe to Amanda, and we're going to be back because we have 2 more specials next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right back here.
Yes.
Right.
All
Check
right,
your
you guys
calendars.
have a good night.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good night.